Welcome back, my wisdom walkers. And for those of you who are new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. This is Life Lessons Learned. And in my last video, I did let you guys know that there would be a challenge for you. And it's a way for you to really take a look at some things that you've created in your life that you don't want to experience anymore, or some issues or avenues that you're facing that you prefer not to. And we're going to talk about what role you play in that and how you can begin to change that. Okay. So in that video, I talked about 99.9% of everything that we experience happens for one of three reasons. We either allow it, promote it, or create it. So I'm going to go into detail as to what I mean by that. And I'm also going to give you some examples of people being stuck in whatever situation they're in. Now, I want to say up front that this can be a challenging test for many of you out there, um, especially for those who insist on being a forever victim, someone who, no matter what happens to them, is never their fault, someone who continues to blame everyone else for what they're going through in life. So this challenge is not for any of you who are cowards or sissies, or who, I don't know if I should have said the word sissy, but who cling to the idea that they just don't have many choices in life. Let me make it clear. We all have choices. Even when you don't know that you have a choice, that doesn't negate the fact that you do have a choice. And one of the ways to bring that home is to remind you that deciding not to decide is a decision. So kind of let that percolate. Now, one of the examples I'm going to share with you has to do with a conversation that took place. We won't say it was with me or anyone else. Let's just say it's a conversation that took place somewhere in this mass universe, okay? I said mass universe. I should have said in this vast universe, although I guess it is pretty massive too. So let's get started. So, in this particular instance, a person was stopped at a red light, and unfortunately, the vehicle behind them didn't stop, so they were rear ended. This wound up totaling their vehicle, person that was sitting at the red light. And I mean, that's devastating in itself. I always say when you're in an accident that totals your vehicle out, now you've got to call your insurance, you've got to wait to get another vehicle. If you don't have renter's insurance, you guys know the spiel. So this person happened to be talking to me about what happened as a result of that accident. During her explanation to me, she said that her insurance company denied her claim. Now, I'm going to let you guys in on something. I used to work at AAA insurance company. I know reasons why insurance companies deny claims. And it could be anything from a restricted driver was driving at the time of the accident, so they shouldn't have been driving. It could be that your insurance has lapsed, so technically you're not even insured. So, of course, they're not going to pay out on the claim. Or it could be that you were drinking and driving. I think insurance companies have to still pay for that, though, because even though it's an illegal act, it's the car that's insured, not the activities you were doing while you were doing it. Although the way things are getting now, some insurance companies are kind of looking at that. And of course, they can also deny you if there's some type of fraud or misrepresentation going on, like you left your keys in the car windows are all rolled down, you left the car running, and you're hiding in the around the corner while your friends come and steal the car and wreck it so you can get the insurance. But you guys get the whole gist of that. So while she was explaining all that to me, I simply asked, why would your insurance deny your claim? And of course, well, I shouldn't say of course, but first people tried to deflect that. Well, I don't know. I said, well, you need to find out. Your insurance just can't tell you after you've been making all of your payments that they're not going to honor your claim or that they're going to deny it, especially if you're not at fault, you're sitting still at a red light and someone comes up and whammies you, okay? So she kind of stuck to that for a while, but I don't know. They didn't tell me why. And I don't have time to worry about that. I got to get another car and I have to do this. And I'm like, then that should be the first worry for you. But it's not my life, not my issue, not my circus, and not my clowns, okay? So I can already see that this person, whatever, I won't, because I don't like to do the blame the victim one. So I said to her the same thing that I'm saying to you guys, lots of things that happen to us, we allow, promote, or create. And she was like, so tell me, how did I create that? I was sitting at a red light. I said, no, of course didn't create someone coming in rear ending you, but there's something going on with you that you either did or didn't do with your insurance company. There was a choice that you made, and now your insurance is denying your claim because you're not. I mean, you can probably tell other people that, but I'm not an idiot. Okay. So there's a reason why your insurance company did not honor your claim. And usually it's because you haven't paid your insurance. Okay. So a lot of us think that we can, ride around, not have insurance and nothing's going to happen. And in many cases, that could be the case. But in the one time that it does happen, what part in that entire scenario did you cause? So as we go through the allow, promote, create, first of all, you have to decide which of those you're doing at that particular point or with that particular issue in your life. Now, that's just one example. I wanted to also share another one. Now, say you're not self, but you're employed so you have an employer, you have a job to go to, you work, and for whatever circumstances that may have occurred during your time of employment, you're finding that, you're getting written up for certain infractions or certain things that the company has said, we got to look out for, da 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 da. And if you do this, you get a write up or whatever. And you do that, and say you have 5 warnings, and you can have up to 3, or you have 7, and you can have up to 4. My point here is you're already past your limit of these infractions. And then when you get fired, you start saying it's your boss's fault, or it's not your fault that you got fired. And then when I say, okay, so what happened? And then you start saying, well, I was late that one time, and that was okay. But then the next time this happened and I couldn't help but be late. Start giving excuses as to why you have racked up the many infractions that you have. But the key point here again is they're never your fault. I let my brother use my car and he didn't bring it back in time, so I was late to work. Okay, that was a choice that you made to let your brother use your car. Okay, are you getting the gist of all of this? When you break it down to the very first step, which of those 3 that you would do? In this case, this person allowed someone else to use a vehicle, and whether they thought that person was responsible or not, that's what occurred as a result of that. So when I say allow, promote, create, of course, I'm not talking about walking down the street minding your own business and some van pulls up and kidnaps you. I'm not going to say, well, you chose to walk down that street. There's many things that happen with us in our lives that we are not the sole provider of allowing, promoting, or creating. So keep that in mind. I'm talking about things that we do on a daily basis that we continue on that path. And then when we get consequences or dire reactions or situations that we say we don't want to be in, but we continue to do those things. So another example of that is if you have a friend or a relative or coworker, colleague, neighbor, whoever, every time they're with you, they're coming up with reasons why you'll never make it, you won't be successful, you won't fulfill your goals. And you're like, but I can't control what they say, do, or think. No, you can't. But you can control if you want to see them You can control how often you see them. And you can actually, if you insist on seeing them, you can set some boundaries of what's acceptable language for you and what's not. And if they overstep that boundary, then you can make a decision as to whether you want to continue to allow, promote, or create that person being in your life. So, with those examples, and those are just basic ones, what I would like for all of you to do at this point, and we're not going to even do a deep dive on this whole thing, okay? Because as you begin to do one or two instances in your life, you'll see how this can be implemented and what you can do with small steps you can take to change whatever issue that you're looking at. So, my challenge to you is think of something right now that you're experiencing in your life that you're not happy with, or that you wish you could change, or that you just want to be better or improved. And ask yourself that question: which of these three am I continuing in that keeps this situation active? So, am I allowing it? By allowing it, as I said before, is if someone is disrespecting you verbally, and instead of you speaking out or stopping that or asking them to change the subject, you allow them to continue on in that banter and you just let yourself endure that. Or with that same instance, are you promoting that or creating it? Are you creating circumstances where you're always around that person and that person has exhibited that the whole time you've known them, and you just continue to deal with that? And I want to say up front, there's nothing wrong with any of that. If you're okay with what you're enduring, if you're okay with what you're promoting, if you're okay with what you're allowing, and you're fine with what you're creating, then this is not the video for you. This is for those who are looking at what they're doing and they're thinking to themselves, how can I change that? How can I change that? Because you're not going to change others' behavior and you're not going to change others' beliefs or thought patterns. So it would be up to you. I said patterns is patterns. So it would be up to you to decide how much of that you want to continue on and how much of that you want to allow. Now, again, just take one or two areas in your life that you would like to change. Sincerely ask yourself that question: am I allowing it, promoting it, or creating it? And sometimes, just to dig a little bit deeper, you can ask yourself why. Why am I allowing this? Why am I creating this? Why do I promote this? So maybe there may be some issues there that you need to really take a look at so that you can begin to make the changes that you would like to make. Now, as I said, this could be challenging for some people, especially those who are nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Um, this isn't for, let me say, like getting older, this isn't for cowards or people who always want to pass the buck, okay? If you're the type to cling to your own disempowerment, or you have a bunch of excuses for your failures, then this isn't for you at all. This video is for those who are saying, why am I always getting caught up in other people's drama? Or why does other people's drama seem to come to my doorstep? And usually it's because you allow it to and you let it in and you invite it in, and then you continue to have drama in your life. When I say drama, I'm talking about negative drama, because some drama could be good. Maybe someone's giving me a surprise party with a gift that I've always wanted. But you guys get the idea. No one wants to always have chaos, confusion, drama in all areas of their lives and want to stay in a predicament where they think they can't do anything about it or they don't have a choice or any of that. So, for those of you who are willing to make a change in your life, prepare for that challenge. It's something you can do on your own. You don't have to share with anyone. You can leave comments if you like, or you can say, hey, maybe I won't leave comments on this one until I've tackled one of these, and then I can tell you what the results are. But if you're feeling fearful of any of the changes that you think you would like to make, you could share that and tell us why. And this form, as I said, is life lessons learned. So any of the experiences that you're going through or any of the things that you may be hesitant to try, just share that with all of us. This life lessons learned is not just for all of you to know all of my experiences and learn lessons from that, although that's one of the goals. But a life lesson that you put in here, it's not just for you or me, but it's for all of us. So I wanted to say that. You guys know this is Sherry. This is Life Lessons Learned. My mantra is knowledge is in the knowing, but wisdom is in the doing. Which of this, which part of this challenge would you seriously and genuinely take a look at and then try to make some action with that? Because remember, a lesson learned is one that's been applied. So don't say, yeah, all of these are good ideas, but yeah, I would like to try that. But just begin to slowly implement some things that you would like to change in your life. Be consistent and persistent, and you'll begin to see some of the changes that you would like to experience rather than endure. I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you on the next run. Thanks.